Welcome to the channel, y'all. My name's Ian Sanders. So today, what we're going to be doing is something a little bit different, doing a reaction video. So a little backstory on this. I was at the Life180 Aligned Wealth Experience, and it was a unique experience for me because a lot of the times when I go to these types of events, it's really salesy. A lot of in your face, this is what you need to do when clients say this and clients say that, and that's never really been my thing. But with this one, it was really talking about how to develop as a person, how to really build wealth through taking care of the things that really matter. So taking care of things like your own personal health, making sure that you have the freedom to do the things that you want to do in life. And so what I'm going to do today that's a little bit different is I did a video with my phone while I was there of a man named Garret Gunderson. Now, if you don't know who Garret Gunderson is, I recently started following some of his content as well. He's definitely a financial, I would call it disruptor when it comes to finances. He exposes a lot of the myths that we're told with some of the different financial strategies that we're taught. And he really shows why these things don't work and better options to do them. He wrote a great book, What Would the Rockefellers Do? And he's really known as that money guy. And I'm really looking forward to checking out a lot more of his content so that not only can I help my clients in a much bigger way, but I can actually go and help my family in a much bigger way as well. And so what he's talking about in this clip is what to do to build a trust and do things the way the Rockefellers did. Prior to this, he had talked about how the Vanderbilts, pretty much there's no one that's really wealthy anymore. There's no more millionaires in the Vanderbilt family, and they're a well-known family. But when you look at what they have now, there's really nothing left, as opposed to the Rockefellers, which the entire family is still doing extremely well. And part of that is if you are a person that's trying to build generational wealth for your family, these are things that you'll need to do to make sure that it lasts more than just one or two generations. So if you do like the content, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel, helps get this in front of more people. We'll go ahead and take a look at it. And this is how I take notes too, by the way. And we'll get into it.
Because these three components make a huge difference. It's a family office concept, and look, most people aren't wealthy like the Rockefellers. They can't hire a family office. They can't hire financial people to work just for their family. But you can still have a comprehensive, communicating, and coordinated financial team if you are the quarterback. You don't have to own the accounting firm. You don't have to own the estate planning firm. But if people are aligned with your values, you can be the one that helps direct that so that things get done properly, and that can make all the difference. But the second thing was the family retreat. See, when I die, we're not going to take my money and invest it in the stock market. When the death benefit comes in, it's going to go into a trust. That trust then becomes the Gunderson Family Bank. And my kids and my grandkids and their kids will be able to finance every home moving forward through our family bank and pay us a smaller interest than the banks. We'll capture the interest rather than pay it somewhere else. But the money's number one intended use is to invest in our heirs, to invest in their growth, into their skills, into their life, into their experiences. Not so much that they don't do things, but enough that they do.
Now, I really love this because what he's talking about is a lot of us have life insurance, for instance, so that we can leave money for our loved ones. But what he's talking about is making it so that it goes into a trust, and that trust can be used to really enrich our heirs and help them to do things like buy homes, start businesses, and things like that, and helps to give them a hand up instead of a handout. And I think he does say that a little bit later on. A brilliant way of doing things.
Incentives to say, hey, if you want to live a quality life, whatever that looks like, I'm not here to define what their life is or what life that they love, but I'm here to say I want to make sure that money is not a primary reason or excuse they would do or not do something. That the actions that I take today will echo for generations because of the simple strategies within that book that I'm implementing myself and helping other people implement. And here's the thing. I think insurance is going to become more and more commoditized because of AI, but the good news is it means we get more and more of a chance to talk about legacy and less about transaction. That's where we're going to get this richness. So I got permission because this morning I left my cabin. I have this thing called the Cash Cabin. That's what Chris was talking about. We call it immersion, where people come in and they spend a day with me. But the magic of it's Thursday night. You can get it on Thursday. I pick them up from the airport, and it's about an hour to the cabin, and we just have a conversation. They're not trying to tell me all the things that are most important. They're not trying to sound right. They're just telling me about their life, about their kids, about their hopes, about like what's important to them, what's working, but it's not like a strategy session. It's human beings having a conversation. But they tell me everything that becomes magical the next day. So yesterday, we got to spend the first half of the day, and it was mostly talking about the Rockefeller method. She was saving a lot of money for her grandkids, not life insurance. Ironically, her brother is a general agent for Mass Mutual, which I found just ironic that these were going into like money markets and CDs and pretty anemic savings accounts, and nothing into life insurance, but just a small amount of judgment. So I was like, okay. And she had $13 million of term insurance.
Cool.
And so I was like, hey, I think we could actually make sure that instead of you paying, it was like $24,000 a year towards something that has a 1.1% chance of paying out, and transfer that into something that has a 100% chance of paying out. And I got her to think about this. What if you knew when you died at least $13 million was coming into your trust? How would you spend your money differently for the rest of your life?
Now, this is really, really important. What he's talking about here is a lot of people will get term life insurance because it's cheaper, but it only has about a 1 to 2% chance of paying out. It's not a guarantee that that is ever going to pay out, and it's written specifically that way and designed that way. And it's usually, as I've said before, it's supposed to be meant for specific purposes, for things that are short term, not for estate planning and things like that. So sometimes what you'll see is, in this case, a person will have term insurance and act as if it's something that's going to leave a legacy for their family, but that's not whatever's going to happen. What he's saying is, how about we go ahead and move that into something permanent, and how differently will you spend your money if you know that in this case it's $13 million, but hey, it could be 100, 200, 500, 750, $1 million is going to take care of your family. What would you give yourself permission to do? And what experiences would you be able to pay for and do with your family if you're not having to put that money away for them month after month, year after year? If you know for a fact this money is going to them and you don't have to worry about that anymore, how differently would you live your life with your family then? Awesome.
55 years old. And it was like we just got to spend an hour talking about the coolest experiences she's ever had with the family, the things that she wants to do with the family, the things that they could do, knowing that that gave her permission. I didn't show an illustration. I just had that small little conversation. And then the really cool thing is the afternoon was pretty magical. I helped her write her family constitution, because that's another piece of the new part of the book, is the family constitution. It's a preamble to your trust. It's a letter of wishes. It's a statement of purpose. It's the core philosophies and signposts that you want to leave behind, the principles that helped you to live the best part of your life, that you can hand down from generation to generation so they know who you are, what you stood for, and what that might do to impact their life so they don't have to make all the same mistakes twice.
Now that's awesome. Writing a constitution and putting that in your trust so that the future generations know what the trust is there for. That's next level.
And she said I could share. I was so enthused. I'm like, I'm going to speak to a bunch of people today. They're awesome. Would you mind if I shared what we wrote? And this is her doing, the majority of the writing here, but I'm just helping her out. So we actually created her family crest. She called her son on FaceTime. We showed him the crest, and she got emotional and started to cry. She said, what our family stands for most is love, and that's where we started. And then we said, all right, so what's the mantra? She says, the Dill family motto, her last name's Dill. Love in action, a hand up, not a handout. Now, a hand up, not a handout is something that her mom, who just died a year and a half ago, said all.
I thought I had heard that before from this. So yeah, it was not Garret himself saying it, but the woman that he was working with. In her constitution, she said a hand up, not a handout. And I love that. I'm going to use that from now on. I'm so glad that I heard that.
And so now she's honoring her mother's legacy. If we were walking and she thought heart-shaped rock, she goes, when I find these, I know my mom's with me. Right? Like, this is the kind of experience when we don't have pressure of anything to do. We have all day Friday. We're walking the river. I bring them to my favorite place on the planet, my cabin, my own personal place. We're hanging out. My sister's taking notes. We have someone making us food. We just get this chance to truly connect. And so this is the motto. It says the Dual Family Mantra. We show up with love. We carry gratitude and responsibility. We rise with resilience. We give with generosity. We live with integrity and faith. We pass forward joy, light, and a legacy of love. So imagine that the person, the Garret doing in this world, is telling you these things, and it's something that's seen when you go to the house. It's something that you might see on the walls. It might be on a shirt. It's just like a centerpiece to how you live, and it's like the essence of who they are as a family that she's capturing. Now, this will be the first part of her trust. It says, the Dual Family Constitution, to our beloved family. This trust and constitution are created as an expression of our love, care, and hope for you today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. I mean, this is pretty amazing shit, right? It's not simply about wealth or possessions, but about extending a hand of love across time to give you strength, stability, and opportunity. We wish this to be seen not as a handout, but as a handout, a way for you to begin your life's journey with encouragement, guidance, and a secure foundation. May this trust serve as a loving beginning for your path, giving you the freedom to grow, to learn, to work hard, and follow your dreams with confidence. Our deepest hope is that you remember, this gift carries with it not only resources, but also our family's values: love, responsibility, resilience, gratitude, compassion, integrity, generosity, and most of all, joy. Use it wisely and let it inspire you to live with purpose. To light up the rooms you enter, and to pay it forward in your own ways. The trust is meant to be more than a financial support. It's a legacy of love, a reminder that you're never alone, that the family stands with you, and that the generations before you believe in your future. Carry this love forward, nurture one another, live with kindness, courage, and faith, and may this foundation of love and support lift you to take your own steps into the world.
So, one of the great things about this particular event is it really did get us to open our eyes to what our values and beliefs are, what we wanted for our family, and really gave us a framework that we could use to make sure that it wasn't just a one generation type of thing. A lot of people that get life insurance really do think that it's going to change their family's life, but it really only lasts, maybe that generation. Maybe they leave some money for their wife, or maybe they leave money for their kids, or maybe even their grandkids. But without clear direction and education, that's not going to go very far. So, great information from Garret Gunderson. Make sure you check out his channel. I'll leave a link in the description below, and you have a great rest of your day.